and we are live at the Village of Portchester Mayoral Forum. I want to welcome the candidates, Rocco Latella, Luis Marino, and David Matthews. As a former mayor myself, I thank you for your willingness to serve the community. It's a very rewarding experience. My name is Douglas French. I'm the president of the League of Women Voters for Rye Brook in Portchester. And before we go further, I'm going to ask our translators to say a few words on how you can access this forum for the Spanish translation.
Buenas noches a todos. Bienvenidos a este foro virtual de los candidatos a la alcaldía del 2021 de la villa de Portchester. Para los participantes que desean escuchar este foro interpretado en español, por favor silencien su audio en sus computadoras y marquen en sus teléfonos el número 646-558-8656. De nuevo, 646-558-8656 y entren el código de llamada 968-3406-4502 y el signo de número. El código es 968-3406-4502, signo de número. Voy a repetir. I'll repeat again. Buenas noches a todos. Bienvenidos a este foro virtual de los candidatos a la alcaldía 2021 de la villa de Portchester. Para los participantes que desean escuchar este foro interpretado en español, por favor, silencien su audio en sus computadoras y marquen en sus teléfonos el número 646-558-8656, 646-558-8656 y marquen el código de reunión 968-3406-4502 y signo numeral. El código nuevamente es 968-3406-4502 y signo numeral. Gracias. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And so to access this webinar, we've got the Zoom link, obviously. We just went through the Spanish translation. The replay will be on our YouTube channel, which we've set up, which is League of Women Voters of Rye Brook, and Portchester. And the replay will also be on Portchester or PCTV after we're done. So that's how you get access. I also want to thank the public. We put out for questions. We got a range of topics, issues that are important to the people of Portchester. So that's what tonight is all about. It is about hearing from the candidates, their views on what the people want to hear about. We are a small private volunteer organization, and our goal is really two things: educate the voters on the issues and the candidates and get them engaged in their schools and their government. And with that, I will turn it over to our moderator tonight, Leah Dembitzer. We're pleased to have her, the president of Scarsdale League.
Thank you, Doug. Good evening and welcome to all of you watching from home. I hope that you and your families are doing well. I'm Leah Dembitzer. I'm the president of the League of Women Voters of Scarsdale, and I'm pleased to be here tonight to serve as your moderator for the Portchester Mayoral Candidate Forum. I want you to know that I do not live in Portchester. I'm not a voter there, and I'm not familiar with the issues facing your village. As League president, Doug French said in his remarks, and I will echo them, that the League of Women Voters is a grassroots, volunteer, nonpartisan political organization whose mission is to help inform voters and encourage civic engagement. The League has been hosting candidate forums in communities and states across the country for many decades. We organize these forums so that the voters have an opportunity to hear from the candidates on local issues that affect their lives. The League hopes that this forum will help Portchester voters make an informed choice at the polls. The three candidates for mayor of Portchester, all of whom are with us this evening, are Rocco Latella, Luis Marino, and David Matthews. Doug just outlined the voting information for the March 16th village election. This candidate forum will be recorded and will be available on the League of Women Voters of Rye Brook, and Portchester website for future viewing. In addition, the candidate forum will also be available for viewing on Portchester Verizon and Cablevision Public Access TV and on demand on the League's Facebook page. It will also be recorded and replayed on League of Women Voters YouTube channels. The speaking order of candidate opening statements, as drawn from a hat by the host organization, is as follows: David Matthews, Rocco Latella, and Louis Marino. The closing statements will be given in reverse order. Opening statements will be a maximum of 1.5 minutes. Following the opening statements, there is a question and answer portion with a total of approximately 10 questions. Questions were created by the Rybrook, and Portchester League, and they were also solicited from the public prior to the event. Audience questions were vetted for relevancy to the office by a committee of the League. The candidates did not see the questions prior to the forum. The candidates will have a maximum of 1 minute to respond to each question. After each candidate has had the chance to answer a given question, candidates will be given an opportunity for a brief rebuttal. The time limit for rebuttal is 30 seconds. Following the question and answer period, all candidates will give a closing statement for which the time limit is 1.5 minutes. The timekeeper this evening is League President Doug French. He will indicate with his hand, I'm going to show, when 30 seconds remain, and he will say time when a candidate's time is up. When time is up, candidates may finish the sentence they have started. The timekeeper will be visible on your screen for the whole forum. I will enforce the time limits. I would also like to emphasize that any response or statement that is of a personal nature or a hostile nature will be considered out of order. As far as mute and unmute, I think that maybe you can keep yourselves off mute, but if someone is making background noise while someone else is speaking, then mute yourself, and I will remind you if you need to unmute yourself during the Q&A. Okay, we will now begin with opening statements. Candidate David Matthews, it is your turn to go. You have 1.5 minutes. Thank you.
Good evening. First, I want to say thank you to the League of Women Voters. I want to say for holding this debate. I want to say thank you to the residents attending this evening and our guests and friends from all over the United States that are participating. I want to just start by, I asked for this debate to be closed captioned for my seniors and people that have hearing impairments, but that wasn't the case. And so I'm a little disappointed in the League for that. I hate to start with a negative, but I just have to be honest with you. With that said, I'm here because I want to bring the village a new set of eyes to review everything. I have a sense of curiosity about why things are not working in our village. And I think I could help. I know I could help fix those things. I have a passion for working with people, a focus on universal connectedness and critical thinking. I mean, I have a background in human resources. I have over 30 years experience in diversity management and helping organizations like Citicorp, Nabisco, IBM, KPMG, CEQA, help with their diversity programs. So I have an expertise. I have an expertise in employee relations. If you look at what's happening in the world today,
Time's up.
Thank you.
I didn't have the 30 seconds, sorry. That's why closed caption would have been good. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Candidate Matthews. All right, we now will move on to Candidate Latella.
Yep.
Please give your opening statement. Candidate Latella, you have 1.5 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Rocco Latella, and I'm running for mayor because I love Portchester. I'm first-generation American whose parents came from Italy. I've been a resident of Portchester for over 40 years, moving here for the 4th grade at Corpus Christi. And I am a homeowner for the past 21 years in the village. I'm proud to graduated from Portchester High School in 1986. I've worked commercial and residential construction, excuse me, starting well in my early teens, thanks to my talented and hardworking father. I designed and fabricated all types of materials. I'm a business owner, and I've run a loss prevention and access control company for 26 years. I know the perils that face not only our beloved village, but personally in this post-COVID world, especially our business owners and workers. My focus will be support smart development to increase tax base and energize downtown businesses, require better communication at Village Hall between departments and public, improve village parking services with smartphone parking apps, annual residential downtown parking, overnight parking permits in municipal lots, and trial neighborhood parking districts. I also support city status. I will also unify the entire board to pass policies to make a better Port Chester. What I can promise is that I will work tirelessly for the village. It is my home. I'll work together with our businesses, our government, and to hold everyone accountable for their actions.
Thank
I'm
you.
not perfect. Okay, thank you.
Very good. Sorry about that. Thank you very
No
much.
problem. It's okay.
All right, we're going to move on to candidate Marino. Go ahead, candidate Marino. You have 1.5 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Portchester, how everybody's doing. I hope everybody's safe with the times we live in with COVID. My name is Luis Marino. I moved to Portchester 36 years ago. I love this village. That's the reason I got involved in different organizations. I've been an employee from the Scarlet School District for the past 26 years. Present time, 25 years plus, serving the Portchester Fire Department volunteer. Very proud, honored to do it. I'm also came a part member commission from the Taxi Commission. I was a member from the Planning Advisory Committee in 2010. I was the first Hispanic to be elected as a trustee. It's been 11 years, went pretty fast. I was honored to work with good mayors. The present time working with Fritz Valenka, Mr. Neil Pagano, and Mr. Pilla. A lot of knowledge. I learned a lot from the past mayors. As you know, this is my third time being elected as a deputy mayor. Thank my fellow brothers trustee with their support. I'm running for the mayor. The reason why, like everybody else, I guess, I love this village. It's in my heart. I really care. And I have the experience. It's 11 years plus. I didn't come out of nowhere. I want to serve this village. I dedicate my time. I earn serving the community, board commissions.
Time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Marino. All right, now we're going to move forward with our questions. Question number 1, and the first one who gets to go is candidate Latella. Everyone will get the same question. Cite one decision the village has made this past year that you agree with and one that you disagree with, and why. You have 1 minute. Thank you.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that question again? The first part of the question?
Cite one decision that the village has made this year that you agree with and one that you don't agree with, and why.
Okay, one that I don't agree with. Possibly the paraphernalia, passing the paraphernalia, I guess, paraphernalia in the village. I guess they passed something for being able to sell. That's basically it. That's it. I'm not going to comment on any of the other stuff that was passed, basically. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, we're going to go to candidate Marino. Mr. Marino, cite one decision the village has made this past year that you agree with and one that you disagree with, and why. You have 1 minute. Thank you.
Sure. The decision I disagree is we have a master plan he wants to come and build the right across from the train station. We approve our base code zone. So everything should go by the code and we should follow that. So what we did is we bought on 13 stories or 12 stories and we all agreed. Then later on, they increased the height of the building. So that was big mistake by the board of members of trustee. I voted against. I was very, very disappointed. And that was the reason why we have this code. So we worked so hard to create this, and we just throw it out of the window. To me, is the most disgusted I see on the board this year. The one I agree, tax increase. And the budget time came last year. We did it pretty good. I mean, we went down from 11% to come in on tax cap. So that's a perfect time for me. I mean, everybody would complain about taxes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Candidate Marino. All right, to Candidate Matthews, cite one decision the village has made this past year that you agree with and one that you disagree with and why. And you have 1 minute as well. Thank you.
Not going to take that long. Zone-based code, that was definitely a positive thing to help move the village forward in terms of how we look at development projects, which are necessary at this point in time, based on our financial situation that has been brought on by about 11 years of neglect. What did I positively support? I can't say there's other than, I mean, what am I against in terms of what they've done? Well, the timing of it is kind of interesting, but we purchased about $1 million in terms of capital and accessories for a brand new garbage truck. And then there was a vote that, not a vote, but discussion that we might not use it. So without actually looking into the problem and figuring out whether or
That's
not it
fine.
makes sense. Okay.
Fine.
Thank you. Everyone will have another 30 seconds if they would like to say something additional for rebuttal or for additional comment. Mr. Latella, would you like to give a rebuttal for 30 seconds?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Marino, would you like to give a rebuttal for 30 seconds?
No, I'm good.
You're fine. Okay. And Mr. Matthews, would you like to give a rebuttal for 30 seconds?
I'm good.
You're good too. All right.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now we're up to question 2, and this question will first go to Candidate Marino. How can you help to restore the downtown and small businesses that have suffered under the pandemic? And you have 1 minute.
Thank you. Very easy. Like I've been doing, been working really hard, helping the community where we're suffering right now with COVID. We feed them. Number 2, I had 2 big meetings, help the restaurant owners to open the business. We send a letter to the government's office and made numerous phone calls. We called our county, the state senator, they all came to help. I worked pretty close, making the phone calls, meetings, and we're not over yet. I mean, we wish we can open more, and I'm going to work really hard. They can get aid, the state government money, to help them come out of the hole. I know it's a difficult time, and also it's going to affect our village purchase the taxes, because as you see it, as everything was closed. I will keep working very hard. I will call the government again. I will follow up at the state. It's money. It's coming to help them. They come out of the ground. We need to help them. I feel it. I'm just a taxpayer.
Okay, it's time.
Great, thank you very much. All right, Candidate Matthews, the same question. How can you help to restore the downtown and small businesses that have suffered under the pandemic? And you have 1 minute as well.
Unfortunately, without help from the county, the state, private investors, it may not be possible.
Right.
They took a significant loss in income. We were closed for a very long time. I am trying to work with what's called people who do impact investing to see if we can get money from outside sources to invest in our businesses, to help our small businesses. That's a new concept. I'm looking at social entrepreneurship, where we're actually going to work with them to help them with their marketing to see if we can increase foot traffic to their businesses. We're going to probably have a couple of community meetings where we're going to get the best minds, business minds in one room and try to see in terms of what they can do for us in terms of to help us just accelerate our recovery. So I'm going state, I'm going federal,
Time.
and local.
Thank you, Candidate Matthews. Okay, Candidate Latella, How can you help to restore the downtown and small businesses that have suffered under the pandemic? And you have 1 minute as well.
Okay. Well, we all know that basically everything's been shut down for a long period of time. It's basically out of our control, unless the powers that be from Albany or from the state or from the government say that, hey, listen, we can open up. We know that things aren't going to turn back to normal anytime soon. All we could do is, ask for help from Albany, ask, help from the government, and see if they can get us some kind of relief. We know everything's kind of tight, but it's going to take a while, and hopefully the government will come through. That's all I can say for now. Like I said, it's out of our hands. Our hands are tied. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Candidate Latella. All right, now we have rebuttal time. So Candidate Marino, would you like to rebut for 30 seconds?
Yeah, I'm not going to rebut here, but I'm trying to bring it up more. Actually, is our hands should never be tight. That's the reason why we get elected, and we should fight for. Like we did already. We send a letter to the government. Obviously, also I want to put a point blank here. It's not about Trustee Marino doing this. The whole Board of Trustees worked together as a team, include the mayor. We supported a letter, went out to the state senator, the county, you name it. So the letter is already up there. Our assistant village manager is following up. We can't just sit in there and say, you know what, we can't do anything. It's tight, but we got to fight. We got to argue. Rocco, we got to help these people. We need to help them.
Thank you. All right, we'll go, Mr. Latella, I'm just going to go to Matthews and then
Sure.
it was just
Sure.
I'll go back to you though if you would like to speak for 30
Sure.
seconds. Okay, Mr. Matthews, do you have a comment for another 30 seconds?
Absolutely. Okay. I mean, one of the things we have to do is we have to see what we can do to get our downtown working and functioning again, and not just look like a construction site, so we can draw more foot traffic to our village. We need to, I have no reason why they're stonewalling the Capitol Theater project, because it's been sitting on somebody's desk, or because the planning committee, I don't know who's doing it, but that was put in over 8 months ago, the Capitol, because there were some violations with the fire code, but I think the Board of Trustees has been holding that up, and I'm really upset about that, but we got to get that moving.
Yep.
It's a draw for our village.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Latella, you wanted to speak for 30 seconds as well.
Sure. Mr. Marino, I just wanted to ask you, do you have that special letter, that all special letter that you can send up to Albany for them to decide to open up Portchester according to what you ask? Because the last time I checked, basically the whole country was shut down. If you have that special letter, I would like a copy of it so I can get Portchester going back to normal. Thank you very much.
Okay, let me answer that, Mr. Latella.
Listen, you already answered that.
No,
You
I
told
didn't
me
say
you
it's
had
a
that
special.
letter.
There's only one rebuttal allowed. I'll agree.
Thank you very much. We're moving on to our next question.
Thank you.
Okay, question number 3. First, it goes to Candidate Matthews. Do you plan to keep property taxes in check for Portchester homeowners? And if so, how? And what is your position on the New York State tax cap? You have 1 minute.
Okay, could you please ask a question that could actually be answered, because the first part of that question doesn't make any sense. Could you please break that down for me? That's not a question. The second part I can answer. There's no way, based on our current financials, that we could stay within the tax cap. Anybody who knows numbers, anybody who has looked at our books, anybody who knows our debt, anybody knows the increasing of our debt, anybody who knows what we just went through in the pandemic knows there's no way. I'm not going to lie to taxpayers. I have my integrity. I will tell you, though, I'll get it fixed. And then guess what? It's going to take us maybe 2 years to turn things around. But year 3, you'll have a better tax situation.
Okay, thank you. So now we're going to Candidate Latella. Do you plan to keep property taxes in check for Portchester homeowners? And if so, how? And what is your position on the New York State tax cap? And you have 1 minute as well.
Oh, there's not too many different answers for this. We know Portchester is broke. Portchester is definitely broke. And we, to be able to keep the taxes at bay are going to be almost impossible. As one of the other candidates says, it's going to be years before we can get stuff back to normal. It's going to be years. And it's disappointing to say, I'm just disappointed that Portchester has gotten to this point where it's going to be an uphill battle to get everything straightened out. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, on to candidate Marino. Do you plan to keep property taxes in check for Portchester? And if so, how? And
Absolutely.
what's your position on the tax cap? Go ahead.
Sure, absolutely. I'm not planning to break the tax cap. As you'll see my record, it's 11 years serving on the board. Always complain by spending a nickel in the office, always. And you can see, you can go back in my records. I'm going to fight hard again. My first priority is going to be make sure our police department, fire department, EMS, sanitation, they all don't get affected. It's hard. It's going to be hard. But meanwhile, we have people coming into building Portchester, right? So maybe we do the smart way envelope so they can build, they can pay the taxes, so we can come up with more money. So other than that, I'm going to work hard. I'm not going to go for 11%, 10% tax to break the tax cap. Absolutely not. It's a way I'm going to look at each department, a recreation department, all those departments, and we're going to try to create to make work. There got to be a way we can do it. I mean, we've been doing it in the past. That's my record. I'm not supporting high taxes. Absolutely not. And I'm going to work really hard. But once again, it's not one guy operation. It's the whole board.
Thank you very much, Mr. Marino. All right. Is there any rebuttal? Mr. Matthews, do you
Ooh,
want
ooh, me, teach me.
All right.
Okay,
Excuse me. We're going with Mr. Matthews first. Go ahead. Mr.
okay,
Absolutely.
thank goodness. I couldn't wait for this one. Help me understand just how that you plan on doing what you did. You fired all the fire department, Mr. Marino. We got rid of our fire department. You fired them. We got rid of half of our clerical staff. We got rid of, the building department, the people that were making us money. You haven't kept a job even in your own union. You've taken away jobs. You've sat there on construction projects. United Hospital. Oh my goodness. 2006. Let's talk about this, please. Time's up, but we'll get to that later.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Matthews. All right. Candidate Latella, do you have a 30-second rebuttal?
Sure. We're not going to be able to have enough projects completed fast enough to be able to make up the money that's needed to get Portchester back to normal. Portchester is being picked apart. We're losing a lot of employees, and it's really difficult. This is not possible. It's not. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Marino, 30 seconds.
First of all, by the way, I didn't vote to fire department. I didn't. As a volunteer firefighter, I love the fire department. Number two, we didn't stop to finish the contract construction in United Hospital. That thing is going on. It's nothing to do with us. We approved the first time. They sell the property. They're going to come up the second time. So it's not a trustee Marino holding that, if you want to be legit. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Now we're on to question 4. So this first goes to Mr. Latella. What are your thoughts on the large mixed-use development projects that have been proposed in your downtown? And you have 1 minute.
Okay. Well, look, I wasn't involved in picking any of these projects. But what I think is, as long as all of these projects follow the rules, the requirements of the Village of Portchester, I think we shouldn't have any problems. But like I says, I wasn't on the board at any time to pick any of these projects. But like I said, if they follow the rules, if they follow what Portchester is asking, then I don't think we should have any problems. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, candidate Marino, what are your thoughts on the large mixed-use development projects that have been proposed in the downtown? And you have 1 minute as well.
Absolutely. That's why I vote in favor to create the plan basic code. So we have a plan in place ready to work with it. We don't need, this is what aggravates me. We're not trying to follow the basic code plan. What we're trying to do is breaking the law. And I was against it. I mean, if we follow, I mean, we should be no problem. I'm not against it anymore. As long as they pay the right share, the taxes, and they're absolutely fine. I don't have no problem. But I'm not going to give you a guy who wants to build the house here for 10 stories, what the code reads, and later, 2 weeks later, he wants to go up to 15 or 20. I don't think that's not right. All the money, all this time we're spending in this base code zone. I mean, doesn't make no sense. might as well throw it out of the door, throw it out of the window. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, candidate Matthews, what are your thoughts on the large mixed-use development projects that have been proposed in the downtown? And you have 1 minute as well.
Okay, I'm going to use 2 seconds of it real quick. One, he abstained from that vote in terms of the budget last time, but every other budget, he voted yes for every single increase. He abstained from one of the firemen getting fired, but every other vote he voted yes. That he, on terms of increasing our budget and our taxes. So I just want to get that. The hospital project, he held that up. He voted for holding it up every time. Now, getting back to downtown, here's my thoughts on it. We have to build it, but not now. We're selling downtown on the cheap. The outskirts of town need to be developed. There are plenty of projects, over $1 billion in projects that could be developed outside of downtown. The downtown should be done absolutely last when the market value for a property is absolutely the highest. We need to increase the market value before we give it away. I mean, if we look at the Colony Pizza project, absurd. If we look at the project in terms of Costco,
Time,
absurd.
time.
Thank you. All right, candidate Latella, would you like to do 30-second rebuttal to anything?
No, thank you.
Okay, candidate Marino, would you like to speak?
Yes, just first of all, one thing. I mean, yes, I did vote in the budget to pass the low increase. I didn't vote for 11% like the rest of the board presented, original. Obviously, I'm not going to break the tax cap. Thank you.
Thank you. And candidate Mathers, would you like to rebut for 30 seconds as well?
I don't think that Marino understands what the tax cap is because he keeps talking about percentages that don't exist.
Okay. All right, let's move on to question number 5. This first goes to candidate Marino. Candidate Marino, with a growing village, new development, and an old infrastructure, how do you plan to balance development with infrastructure investment and maintain historic preservation? You have 1 more minute.
Sure. It's going to be hard because we have a plan when our planning left to relocate those people. I'm not going to just throw it out at everyone up in the street. We need to do a smart envelope, and I'm in favor to come wherever we don't need to touch the rest of the village. The main street looks beautiful. We should leave the way it is. Some part of it's absolutely no need for. It's a beautiful. I'm in favor to leave like that. Whatever needs, yes, but everything have to be. We have it low. Everything should be running on the base going form. So we're not gonna see over rises going up to the main street on Westchester Avenue. If he goes for the zone, goes for exactly high altitude, I go for it. I'm not gonna go behind that. I'm not.
Thank you. All right, candidate Matthews, with a growing village, new development, and an old infrastructure, how do you plan to balance development with infrastructure investment and maintain historic preservation? And you have 1 minute as well.
Unfortunately, there are some buildings that we have let over the last 11 years deteriorate to a point where it's too costly and not cost effective in order for the developers to fix them. However, we do have some great properties that have that historic character. We have a historical commission that is right here in Portchester. They know which buildings that are beautiful and are savable. We could just sit down. It's called universal connectedness. We all sit down at the table, and not including me. I'm talking about the planning commission, the architectural commission, the historical commission, and we come up and we devise ahead of time before they come up with these grandiose designs what Portchester should look like in the future. It's not complicated. Other villages do it, other towns do it, other cities do it. It's not complicated to get people in the beginning sitting at the table and talk about the beauty and what the character of the village of Portchester and what we want it to look like in the future and what we're willing to sacrifice and not.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Matthews. Okay, candidate Latella, with a growing village, new development, and an old infrastructure, how do you plan to balance development with infrastructure investment and maintain historic preservation? You have 1 minute.
Thank you. Okay, so we all know that infrastructure in Portchester has been getting run down for a long period of time. Our sewer systems are really, they need a lot of help. You know, we were supposed to be paying towards our new sewer systems, paying our sewer tax. Doesn't seem like anything's been changing. We know that we're going to be running into a tough time with that. But along with new development, the contractors are going to be paying into, you know, into our infrastructure as they begin to build, or, you know, they sign their contract to do with the Village of Portchester. You know, eventually what's going to happen is we're going to run into a situation where our infrastructure is going to fall behind compared to all of the new stuff. You know, for the past 10 years, 11 years, 12 years, 15 years, it was neglected. And I guess this is something that if God willing, I get into office, you know, hopefully we'll be able to tackle something like this. But I tell you, this is something that we're going to have to tackle now before, you know, before it gets buried over. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Candidate Marino, would you like to speak for 30 seconds for rebuttal?
It's not about battle. Just want to make them understand. By the way, Rocco, the sewer system we've been operating for years. We're almost complete. So
we're not almost complete.
But we've been doing it. We borrow money and we pay and we do it. They've been doing it right now at this present time, Rob. I just want to let you know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Marino,
Thank you.
Go on to Mr. Matthews, and then Mr. Latella can go as well as if he wants.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. Matthews. Would you like to speak for 30 seconds?
Yes. I mean, I go back to, I mean, we started as an industrial village. We had Russell, Bustle, and Wide. My grandmother came here in 1952 because that's where the jobs were. As a village, we need to move forward from that concept, but there's a lot of great buildings that we could utilize that have historical value. I mean, they tried to do it with the Capitol, but yet they're holding it up. They're trying to become within the fire codes of our planning board set in place, but the paperwork has been stuck for 8 months. We need to lube the system, not by paying under the table, just by getting people to look at documents and approve them so people could build.
Thank you. Mr. Latella, would you like to rebut for 30 seconds?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
All right, we're moving on to question number 6. This question first goes to candidate Matthews. What is your position on diversity, equity, and inclusion for Portchester and the social issues that are in our national and local discourse? You have 1 minute.
That's my area of expertise. Thanks for that question. I've been doing diversity and inclusion work for over 30 years. I absolutely have a passion for it. We have our golden ticket in Portchester to our survival is our beautiful diversity. We have an amazing cultures here and individuals that are passionate about the village of Portchester. What our job as administrators is to help them build a future for their children and their grandchildren that has something in it for everyone and that we could share in that diversity. People visit our village because of our diversity. I mean, it's beyond me why we're having some of the problems we are, other than that we're putting people that have against people that have not, which is an age-old story. And doesn't work. There's enough pie for everybody. And you know what? If we work together, we could help everybody eat. It's great feeding the homeless, and it's great feeding the people.
Thank you, candidate Matthews. All right, now it's to candidate Latella. What is your position on diversity, equity, and inclusion in Portchester and the social issues that are in our national and local discourse? And you also have 1 minute.
So the diversity. I'll tell you, this is how I look at it. No matter what nationality, what race you are, the bottom line is for families to pull together, teach their children to get through life. You know, just for everybody to live and be peaceful in Portchester. You know, I think Portchester is one of the greatest places on earth. That's why I live here. And I really don't see diversity when I go through town. You know, All I look at is families trying to get ahead, working, pay bills, and be happy. That's basically how I look at it. You know, it's not really that difficult. You know, this whole trying to separate or diversity thing, or, you know, listen, it's just family values and just, you
It's
know,
time.
living life. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Latella. Okay, candidate Marino, I'll repeat the question. What is your position on diversity, equity, and inclusion in Port Chester and the social issues that are in our national and local discourse? And you also have 1 minute.
Wow, exactly. Port Chester is one of the beautiful village. We have all different culture, all different nationalities. We work together. We get together. When the catastrophe disaster happened, that's when Port Chester is unique. It's not about whether if you're white, black, Hispanic, and not. Port Chester I love it because I've been working with a few organizations, few groups. We bring diversity together, love each other. I ran programs with the police department, bring it into the community to get along, to talk to the police officers. What's the problem? What's the issues in the village? Wonderful. We had a few seminars. We had it at St. Peter's Church, up in what's the other place up there? I forgot. Carver Center. I'm sorry, but you know, we get together and we know each other. I mean, I was a part of it. All life black,
It's
all
time.
life matter. I mean, it's a wonderful village. Thank you.
It's time.
Thank you, Mr. Marino. Okay, candidate Matthews, would you like to say anything for 30 seconds? Rebuttal?
Yes, please. Okay, first off, in terms of this diversity question, how can we have 11 years since the passage of the Americans with Disabilities Act, village meetings in which they're not closed captioned for people with hearing impaired and people who, you know, are seniors? How could that be? How could that happen on your clock, Mr. Marino? I don't know how that happens. You know why? Because you talk about diversity, but you don't even know what diversity is. Diversity is an inclusionary process. You're talking about, you know, everything that has to do with it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Matthews. All right, Mr. Latella, would you like to speak for another 30 seconds?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Marino, would you like to rebut for
Yes,
30?
Mr. Matthew, actually, I took that one in. The board of trustees and the mayor, we're gonna have those in the TV in our next few meetings. We was brought it up, and they've been working for a while, even to have it in the Spanish. So they're gonna do it. Thank you for your comment.
Okay, thank you very much. You guys are doing well. We're moving forward. Okay, we're going to question number 7. Now, this question first is directed to candidate Latella. The village has become overcrowded with many apartments and rooms being rented illegally. What is your plan for stricter code enforcement? And you have 1.
Thank you very much for that question. So what I would like to do is I would like to make sure that code enforcement has the necessary tools to be able to combat overcrowding, because that's one of the reasons why Port Chester is having the problems that it's having. I think that the homeowners and the people that live in the village of Port Chester should follow the rules. Also, it's a safety issue. Homes are overcrowded. You end up with fire hazards, and that's the last thing Port Chester needs is a fire. We don't need anybody to perish because of a fire. But yes, I will let the building department take care of business like they should. Their hands should never be tied. You know, lives could be at stake. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Candidate Marino, I'll repeat the question. The village has become overcrowded with many apartments and rooms being rented illegally. What is your plan for stricter code enforcement? And you also have 1 minute.
Sure, this is nothing new to me. I mean, I was the one that I got on board. Once again, it's not only by me, the whole board of trustees and mayor, I voted in favor to hire code enforcement system program. We never had it. They're doing fantastic job. If they needed to upgrade it, absolutely. They're working now. They're working together with the fire department and police department as a team, and they be finding issues. For example, I'm going to give you, if it's overcrowd, the fire department goes to the call. If you see it's overcrowd, obviously contacts code enforcement, contacts the police department, they work as a team. Everything is starting changing around. I mean, it's not like it used to be. We have a code enforcement system and we need to use them. If we need to fix them, we need to look at it more, obviously. Can we make change? Always. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, Candidate Matthews, I'll repeat the question. The village has become overcrowded with many apartments and rooms being rented illegally. What is your plan for stricter code enforcement? You have 1 minute.
Okay, first off, that's a biased question. The village is not so overcrowded. There are buildings that are overcrowded with too many people in apartments illegally. That's a difference. Okay, first off, we had one of the best code enforcement processes in place. Mr. Marino and his gang decided to get rid of them. Okay, we had our firefighters who were involved. We had our code enforcement team involved, and we were making progress. We made a substantial amount of revenue. That organization within our little community was paying for itself. It was self-maintained. There was no reason to eliminate those jobs other than friends who own real estate were being impacted because they were being forced to upgrade their properties. If you want to talk about, having too many people with their hands in the pot, that's one of them. I can't even believe that you can't look at the revenue stream that we were getting from that and eliminate those positions. They were paying for themselves. That was no increase in our taxes. I know I'm out of time, so I'll be quiet.
Okay, thank you. Candidate Latella, would you like to rebut for 30 seconds?
Yeah, sure. The overcrowding situation, I think the worst thing in the world is to find out that there's an overcrowding problem after the police department, after the fire department have to enter a building because of some type of unsafe issue or a fire or something like that. That's the worst time to find out. If we can make sure that the structures are up to code and they're not partitioned off and plug-in heaters and all that kind of stuff are not there beforehand, then we can eliminate dangers in the future. So when the fire department ends up there, we find out after the fact, it's too late. It's too late. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Marino, would you like to rebut for 30
Yeah,
seconds?
just wanted to say a couple more words. Actually, Louis Marini, he didn't fight the fire department. I didn't fight the fire department. 20 times, you can keep picking on me, I don't have no problem. Code enforcement also doesn't find out the first thing when the fire department goes to police. It's a different ways they get the complaints. Numerous cars, garbage issue, et cetera, but always they get the complaints even before the fire department gets to the houses. So I want to make sure clear, that's why we still have a department who does this job. We still have people work for code enforcement. We still have it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Candidate Matthews, would you like to rebut for?
Yeah, the people that were actually working for us and working for the village had a passion for the village that we let go. They were like volunteering their time sometimes after work to help with code enforcement. We have outsourced that to other villages, like other towns and cities like White Plains. We get their fire department to do it. We had our own. We had, we didn't lose, or we didn't lower the cost of having this done. We cheapened the cost and took away jobs from people who gave us their lives.
Okay, thank you. All right, question 8. The first question goes to Candidate Marino. What is your assessment of the village's financial position and what financial solutions do you propose? And you have 1 minute.
As we know, we got hit with the COVID this year in the budget. We have a couple of positions to fill. We're gonna have our new village manager. We're gonna have a new planning. They have to be filled. I'm in favor of it. And we're gonna work hard. Financial revenue is down. Taxes, we lost a lot of parking meters. But like I said again, I mean, people coming into the village, they wanted to build. I mean, we just have to do the right way. I mean, I'm not against it. Any of those contractors who want to build, I mean, loans, they do to pay the fair share. And that's the only reason we're gonna look for help. Like I said, that's the only reason. I mean, we got the state help, what county help, anything we can get is gonna help us, anything. We're gonna apply for more help money like we did in the past. what else? I mean, money's there. We just have to look for it. And it's going to tighten our belts. It's going to be tough.
It's
I
time.
can see that. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Matthews, what is your assessment of the village's financial position? And what financial solutions do you propose? And you have 1 minute as well.
Okay. Our financial situation is dire. That's why we keep making cuts. We're trying to address financial issues with just reducing staff and services, and that doesn't work in an overtaxed community. You have to have a plan for increasing revenue. I think in terms of with the building we have over $1 billion in unrecognized revenue just sitting out there. We need to streamline our processes in terms of the building department. We need to make sure that we're building safe. We have the zone-based code now. That's going to accelerate the process, but we need to continue to move things forward because we have the most, how do you want to say, safe code in the county. And we just have to enforce it and work with our builders, our developers, our planning commission, our architectures. We can do this. We absolutely can do this.
Okay, thank you.
Yield the floor.
Mr. Latella, what is your assessment of the village's financial position and what financial solutions do you propose? You have 1 minute.
Okay, so we know that Portchester is broker than broke, and it's not getting any better. It's not going to get any better anytime soon. Like I said, all I can say is that we're going to have to support some smart development. We're going to have to, like I said, we'll have to energize downtown businesses. You know, we're going to have to get some development going and soon. We know the buildings aren't going to go up in this, you know, these spaces are going to be available next week or next month. So in the meanwhile, you know, we're going to have to tighten up our belt and, you know, we're going to have to try the best that we can. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Marino, do you have a rebuttal for 30 seconds?
I'm good.
You're good. Okay. And Mr. Matthews, do you have a rebuttal for 30 seconds?
Yes, again, I mean, one of the things that I would probably add is we have to look at congestion pricing. New York City is looking at it in the downtown area. Other cities and villages have looked at congestion pricing. That may be an opportunity for us, but we're not going to balance the budget on parking tickets. I mean, for goodness sake, we had 100 meters tampered and we didn't even prosecute the guy that stole hundreds of thousands of dollars from us. And that, you know, I don't know why the Board of Trustees let that go, but okay, it's okay to steal from Portchester. What do I know?
Okay, Mr. Latella, would you like to rebut for 30 seconds?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, so now we're moving on to question number 9, and candidate Matthews will go first. How do you stand on public safety and emergency services? For example, hire more police, the police survey, or bring the career firefighters back, to name a few. You have 1 minute.
Okay, one thing I know for sure is that as we develop, we're going to be able to bring back our career fire department. We're going to need to. If the structures that go up to make this city viable, I mean, this village viable, and we get our $1 billion worth of revenue, we will have jobs. We will create jobs for those firemen. And our EMS, I mean, we have the best police department in the county, probably New York State. I mean, we need to make sure that we support these men and women, make sure that they have the right protective gear, make sure that, you know, we're not overworking them and working them down to the ground. I mean, that's a problem that I don't have much information on other than the fact that I go to bed safe every night. I mean, I can't say enough about it. EMS in terms of that, you know, maybe we work with the town so they can help absorb some of the cost of managing the EMS. You know, they're there, we're paying our taxes to the town. They need to be a partner in terms of the EMS, I think.
Okay, thank you. Candidate Latella, how do you stand on public safety and emergency services? For example, hire more police, the police survey, or bring the career firefighters back, to name a few, and you have 1 minute.
Okay, so Portchester, police, excellent. EMS, awesome. I would never like to see anything happen to them. Our fire department, excellent. You know, we may We may need in the future to hire a full staff for the fire department, only because, as everybody knows, I would love to see Portchester become a city. So I think that would have to be one of the requirements to have paid firemen in a city. You know, God willing, if everything goes well with development and the money comes in, we can hire, you know, a full-time fire department. Not to mention, listen, all our volunteers are awesome. They're spectacular. They're on it. They're passionate. But like I said, for the city status, you know, I think that's going to be one of the prerequisites in which we may need.
Time.
So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, candidate Marino, how do you stand on public safety and emergency services? For example, hire more police, the police survey, or bring the career firefighters back, to name a few. And you have 1 minute as well.
Sure. Portchester changed dramatically. Way back, they used to be good service. We have the best service, police, fire department. I'm one of those. EMS is a beautiful thing. We share service EMS, by the way. We share Rye Brook and Portchester. Police department, they work along together with the Rye Brook. They call me through 8. They come, they help each other. And by the way, I'm in favor if we need to hire more policemen, we did it. We got 3 police officers retiring in June or July as the school starts. We bring in three new officers to the class. Good relationship with the chief. We can do better. Our safe terror streets, our community, absolutely. I've been working in the past. I was honored to appoint retired police Chief Conway, now this present Chief Chris Rosavella, and our new captain. I mean, fantastic. They doing whatever's the best for our village. And if we need to do more review, yeah. And this,
Time.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, candidate Matthews, would you like to rebut for 30 seconds?
I had a very difficult time hearing him. But sure, why not? I just don't understand your voting then, Louis. If that's the case, I mean, we eliminate firemen, you want to hire 3 police officers, you want to get rid of the DPW, so I'm getting confused in terms of where you stand on public services.
Okay. Mr. Latella, would you like to rebut for 30 seconds?
I'll tell you, all I just want to put out there is that our DPW definitely can use more help. That's definitely, because we have to understand that the DPW is like the heart of the village. They make sure that our streets are clean and everything looks manicured and beautiful. You know, it would be nice to have more guys hired on the DPW. They could definitely use that. They're hardworking guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, candidate Marino, would you like to rebut for another 30 seconds?
I just got a comment. Yeah, first of all, once again, I didn't fire the fire department. I didn't. 6 against 1. I didn't. Okay. I've been saying all night, I'm going to repeat myself. Yes, we did hire 3 police officers because 3 then retired. It's on our budget. The money's there. And I'm in favor to hire 3. They're going into school in June or July. I don't remember. But I'm not against any other safety that comes first. And I would work really hard to maintain the same service and the best of the residents. Thank you.
Time.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're on to question number 10. The first one is for candidate Latella. How would you support the youth and schools of Portchester? And you have 1 minute.
Okay. So this is not really a question for Board of Trustees or the mayor, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, the Board of Education is an entity all of themselves in which they can take care of their stuff. Look, we understand that the Board of Education or the schools has a very large chunk of taxes that affects the people in the village of Portchester. I wish it wasn't as expensive as it is, you know, but like I said, if I'm not mistaken, I really don't have any influence on the Board of Education. So there's nothing that I can basically say that they'll listen to. They have their own board and they do things their way, and we have to respect them. That's the way the system's set up. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Candidate Marino, how would you support the youth and schools of Portchester? And you also have 1 minute.
Sure, the youth in the school Portchester, I will support them. We have after-school programs. They come to Portchester Library. We pay for anything else we can do. We have a recreation department. We work really close with Carver Center. I did in the past. I had a program summertime. I mean, the village, we can help them more. Yes, we have a recreation department. We had a youth. So now we lost the one word program. Maybe we can help them for after-school program to those kids. I'm not going to say no. Even if the school doesn't provide them, we need to help them. We can put them with the recreation department. Carver Center, numerous programs we can provide. Thank you.
Thank you, Candidate Marino. Okay, Candidate Matthews, how would you support the youth and schools of Portchester? And you also have 1 minute.
Okay. Me and I absolutely love kids. I love their, their creativity. And you know what? One of the things I'm going to do is the recreation department. I'm going to get some entrepreneurs to help build the skate park that they so desperately want. We have what everybody wants around the county. We have green space. We have beautiful parks, but they're underutilized. We need to have and stimulating programs and events that bring the youth in, and the youth can help direct that. We have a gentleman, Mr. Conway, that was running our a couple of our recreation programs for the youth, who's done a phenomenal job in terms of for our at-risk youth. With regards to the schools, I want to put a BOCES program locally here in Portchester. I'm going to get one of our developers to help build us, and I'm going to get Westchester County to help finance it in the state, because 1 out of 5 of our kids can pass the region, so we better give them some other skills, and BOCES is a great place to start.
Thank you. Mr. Latella, would you like to for 30 seconds?
Sure. Ms. Marino was mentioning about after-school activities for the children, I guess, that the village would pay for. At a position that the village is in right now as being broker than broke, I don't understand how we're going to have the extra money since we're laying people off and then hiring other people, how we're going to have that extra money for these children. The school system, has a lot of good programs. I'm pretty sure. Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Candidate Marino, would you like to rebut for 30 seconds?
Sure. The skate park, we already done some process. The village, we approve a park for them already. Actually, I was part of the group with the organization when they did a fund to build the park without a cost zero to the taxpayers. I'm in favor, and I will keep supporting. We have a recreation department. They can help us with after-school program. It's only an hour or two. We have employees in there ready, so we can work the hours around without a minimum cost to our village. That's why you need a mayor who knows. They can see what's going on and what you have around you. We can work, always we can work. Thank you.
Mr. Marino. Okay, Candidate Matthews, would you like to speak for 30 seconds for rebuttal?
Yeah, I'm just surprised because I don't remember Lewis speaking out about them eliminating the One World program. So it's a shock to me that he actually had a compassion for it.
I was at the board meeting, by the way.
Excuse me, I'm talking, sir.
Okay.
All right.
Rules of the game are you're not allowed to interrupt. This is a
Thank you.
collaborative process, as we'll say, in terms of a debate. But you don't know what a collaborative process is. We'll let that go.
You're right.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. It is now time for closing statements. Closing statements are 90 seconds maximum. It's a minute and a half. We are going to start with Candidate Marino. Go ahead, Candidate Marino. You have a minute and a half.
Once again, I want to thank you for this time, for the opportunity, and everyone who's watching this. As you know, I'm running for mayor with the experience I have. I'm a candidate, my own candidate. I don't depend on anybody, any other trustees, or to make 4 votes or to do things would not be possible. So I want to be straightforward. I don't have personal agenda. So I want to be open meeting to the public, and I always listen to. So here's the voters, they have to make a decision. Who you're gonna vote for, or who do you have? I mean, you got, and I all respect, I want to wish you good luck, Rock, Matthew. I mean,
thank you.
But any of these candidates, I never saw them in the Portchester. I mean, 11 years in the Board of Trustees. Maybe I missed few meetings. I mean, they were part of any commission. I mean, I'm trying to figure it out myself. I know when it's election time, we all come out of nowhere, kissing kids. We do this, we do that. But I got the heart, I got the time, I got the experience, and I want to ask the voters to support me March 16. And this is who you see. This is what you're gonna get. I'm not gonna be a mayor who's gonna be sitting in the office doing anything. Absolutely not. I'm up
I
there.
didn't think so.
It's right now. I'm
Matthew,
up there. Thank you.
please don't interrupt Mr. Marino.
I'm
Mr.
sorry, I apologize. I owed him one.
No, you're the perfect guy, Dave. You don't make mistakes.
I owed you
No,
one.
you don't have to.
Okay,
You're the
okay.
genius guy.
Apologies, Mr. Marino.
Gentlemen,
My
please,
apologies, sir.
we're moving on to Mr. Latella. Please don't interrupt when someone is speaking for their closing statement. You all have a turn. Okay, Mr. Latella, would you like to go for your closing statement? You have 90 seconds.
Sure. First, I would like to thank the League of Women's Voters for this debate. Thank you so much. People in this audience and those who will be watching this debate, you have a unique role in this election. On Tuesday, March 16th, you'll have the power to decide who will be making the decisions that will impact our community for the next 3, 5, 10, 20 years and beyond. If elected, I'll be ready to work hard for you. I will also work with the Board of Trustees to move Portchester in the right direction. I would like to conclude by asking for your vote on Tuesday, March 16th. It will be an honor to be mayor and to work for you. Thank you for your time. And listen, I tell you, Portchester, I'm going to be able to unite Portchester, and I'm going to get this town back on the right path. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Latella. Okay, Mr. Matthews, you have 90 seconds for your closing statement.
Okay. We're at a crossroads in the village of Portchester. We have a unique opportunity to hit the reset button. We have a new village manager coming in. We have a new village planner, a new mayor. And less than a year in 2022, you can vote for 6 new Board of Trustees. So if you don't like the last 11 years, if you think that it put you in a bad situation financially, can you stand another 11 years of the way things have been going with increasing taxes year after year? I don't think so. Vote Dave Matthews. I'm my own party, Dave Matthews Party. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm just a village person that I think I could help make a difference. And I think I could help this village get back on track for our youth, for the adults, for our seniors, for our villagers. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This brings us to the end of our forum. I would like to thank all the candidates for participating. Thank you to all of those who attended. Just so that everyone's aware, we had over 250 attendees at this forum. Please remember to vote in your local election on March 16th. Thank you as well to League of Women Voters of Rye, Rybrook, and Portchester for organizing this forum for the purpose of helping voters to make an informed choice at the polls. I'm going to turn it back over to Doug French. And Doug, would you like to comment on anything else and say goodnight?
I just would echo your sentiments. Thanks to the candidate. It's a great discussion. Thank you to the public for excellent questions. Thank you to our moderator. Excellent job. Polls are open from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. on March 16th. This is what this is all about, an informed public, an engaged public. And I thank you all for your time. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Good night.